What's up, everybody? This is Ripples in Wales, back for another video. I hope you're all doing well, having a great day wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing. Friday, 21st of July at almost 3 p.m. local time here. Welcome back to the show. Some more news that's come out the past couple of days worth me covering, so I'm going to do an end of week covering for you as well this week. So throw in some content this week it is, but while I've got the time, I will jump at it. First and foremost, if you haven't met before, it's Ripples in Wales. All the links are in my description. You'll find the YouTube channel and the Rumble channel. These videos sometimes I put on Rumble, they're sometimes put on YouTube, just playing around with the algorithms. Mostly uploading to YouTube right now because with showing your face in your video, it seems to increase your algorithm reach dramatically, as I only learnt recently on this. So that's what we're playing around with on this on the YouTube channel. So this will probably post on YouTube. You'll find it there. If not, follow me on X, follow me on YouTube, subscribe and all that crap. Okay, cool, let's get into this. Crypto Insight UK, XRP hourly and daily liquidity. This is really interesting. We've got a pool of liquidity you see beneath the, I'm going to bring this picture up a bit more high res for you. Hopefully my face is not covering too much of the drama here. So you can see where XRP price is in the daily, so every candle is 1 day. Got a pool of liquidity beneath it here and a massive pool of liquidity up at 170. Looks like you'll probably sweep this before. There's drama building in the geopolitical sphere, so it wouldn't surprise me if that pops down below. But, and that is on the, is that daily as well? This is on the hourly, my beg your pardon. So there's a lot of liquidity down below, beneath the dollar. Wouldn't surprise me if this collapsed right down before going up later on in the month to sweep the highs. Okay, cool. The news that's come out, some of the first bit of news anyway. This is the XRPL Commons. They're now doing the funding grant systems again that are open. This funding is one part, support is the other. They are really trying to bootstrap the XRPL ecosystem out. This is super exciting again. They did this in 21, 22. Brought on a load of developments to the XRPL, and they're doing excuse me, and they're doing it all again. I'm going to drink 1 second. So I've got some incense burning in here. I think it's caught my back of my throat. Right. Next up, we've got Ripple releasing an article today called, a new product called Ripple Mint. Meet Ripple Mint, a unified platform for institutional access, mint, redeem, and manage to RLUSD, built for scale for both UI and API access. That's the key thing, API access, remember that. Ripple Mint gives institutions the flexibility to automate stablecoin operations and integrate RLUSD into existing systems and manage digital liquidity across chains, available to existing RLUSD users today. Now, a lot of people missed the kind of point here, and everyone was saying, this doesn't help Ripple, doesn't help XRP. Cool your jets. The XRP was to protect the dollar, Bitcoin was to dethrone it. Never forget that. Back in the old days, this is the same messages to this day. It rings true all the way back to the beginning, and I'm seeing it play out in my sphere. Now, of course, Ripple's probably pivoted quite a lot since their early missions of being, the global reserve world currency and stuff, but hold your horses. Ripple's job is to protect the dollar. That's it. XRP's job is to protect the dollar. How are they doing it? They're tokenizing it. They're distributing it. They're bolstering its dominance on chain. Remember that when we kind of go further down this video in the line. Okay, we're going to look at something now. This is the article extrapolated out onto the Ripple's website, and I want to read one part of it here. As stablecoins become more embedded in trading, payments, and treasury operations, access must evolve beyond manual workflows. Removing humans. Ripple Mint reflects this shift, giving institutions the flexibility to interact with RLUSD either through a user interface or through programmatic interaction. Now, this is the thing, right? Programmatic interaction, APIs. Why would there be programmatic interaction in the future? We're talking AI and the use case of agents, robotics, programmatic interaction through smart contracts and through the digital means of commerce that will be native to this AI infrastructure. They are opening RLUSD out to the agents and through various means of programmatic interoperability with the institutional world. This is a big institutional noise. Okay, then I want to post you this, right? This is the XRPL Foundation. We surpassed 1 million agentic payments via X402 on the XRP ledger. Time to double down. The XRPL AI Hub is a comprehensive new ecosystem platform for builders, users, enthusiasts. Welcome to the agentic economy on the XRPL. So the first million agentic payments are done. That's it. That's the first million done, right? And they've got a website there, xrpl/ai.org. Okay, and it's from this company here, which is T54.ai. I've got their X page up here. AI activity on XRPL has a home. Today we're launching XRPL AI Hub, featuring the ecosystem launch partner Virtuals.io, a single destination for agents, AI project tools, and payment services for the XRPL. Very interesting. So you can see how this is rolling out, right? It's, I'm going to put this out again from the XRPLF. The XRPL crossed 8 million activated accounts. Now, of course, we've all got many accounts. If you used any form of crypto or exchanges, you're going to have multiple accounts. Every exchange has potentially an XRP wallet, so that's essentially an account, isn't it? So, but this is massive, and this will scale dramatically in the coming year as more and more people realize the prowess of this digital asset, especially once they realize that essentially Bitcoin's now being moved aside in the payment world, and that now the leaders are starting to emerge. We can see that. Last week we covered some news, didn't we? We covered the downfall of these Bitcoin treasury companies, and I'm not trying to join some dots here that aren't there. We're seeing the kind of systematic removal of the bad actors, I felt, whether it's by overindulging themselves and getting over their skis and greed, or whether it's, in my opinion, they're being swept aside. Arthur Hayes' BitMEX exchange closed down. We've seen Jack Moller's company 21, their kind of Bitcoin treasury company, he's had to resign. We've seen another Bitcoin kind of, how would I call it, an ambassador in the space. His Bitcoin treasury company is folded and has had to kind of give the money back to the people. Then we've got Pompliano on the ropes, and his company is now struggling as well. So we're seeing a massive change, a sea change from this globally dominated Bitcoin narrative to the cross-border payment narrative. And remember, Bitcoin's been sidelined as digital gold, hasn't it? As in, it's been pivoted, stripped away from that main role of payments, which was in the white paper. And now we're seeing XRP, become maybe the go-to chain in the world of cross-border payments, but what we thought in 2018 would be the case. Okay, cool. Let's shift gears. Franklin Templeton says the rise of AI agents could become a killer use case for blockchain, with agentic commerce predicted to reach 3 to 5 trillion by 2030. I don't doubt that by a long shot. I think it'll surpass that probably. We cannot even fathom the speed at which the singularity in AI is going to unfold. It's going to be wild. So this is now pivoting to the Clarity Act. I'm going to get some heads up on that. This is Cynthia Loomis, and we're going to cover something about Cynthia Loomis that I completely missed later on. You're going to like this, hopefully. Anyway, let's have a listen to what she has to say.
Let me get your take on that, because it seems like you're going to have to even make more concessions on the language around ethics to secure the Democrat support, right? Because, look, you had several Democrats yet last night voicing concerns about the updated text, particularly around the bill's enforcement mechanism. That places responsibility on the Attorney General. Is that the issue right now?
That is kind of a bright line. We had worked until there was an impasse with Democrats earlier this month, because they want state attorneys general to be able to sue elected officials that are subject to this ethics law. And so that would allow, for example, an attorney general from another state to sue me if they thought I violated the ethics law. So when I ran that by senators, they said, we don't want that. And so this ethics provision is not just applicable to the president and the vice president. It's applicable to every House member, every senator, and every federal judge. So we're trying to not plan legislation around one person who holds one office for the next 2 years, but rather over time that will serve the House, the Senate, the judiciary, and the executive branch in a fair way.
That's really interesting, right? They're going to cover all of the aspects with this this Clarity Act? That I hadn't really thought about that.
The struggle is, of course, a lot of Democrats are absolutely focused on one person, and that's President Trump.
Yeah, the Democrats are, the deep state going after Trump. Anyway, we can get a feel where this is. This is close. It's the 1 yard line they're saying. So we're close to this Clarity Act, making a move. Let's have a listen to Bank XRP. The finish line is in sight. Former House Financial Services Chair Patrick McHenry breaks down the Senate's need to pass the Clarity Act. Now, they've all got their opinions. Let's have a listen.
I'm a supporter of this bill and the need for a framework.
It's on Bloomberg.
Will this pass?
Eventually, yes. It's a question of timing. It's sort of when, not if. Though the debate right now on Capitol Hill is a lot of it if. The Democratic Party, particularly the pro-crypto Democratic senators that are part of the coalition working on the bill, have raised real concern about so-called ethics language. And that pertains directly to the president and his family's financial holdings of crypto assets. What they fail to realize, and the debate right now on Capitol Hill fails to realize, is that we don't have any federal law dictating what is a digital asset, what is a means of exchange, and the legal parameters around those things. So there is currently no law on this. The best ethics language we have is actually passing the Clarity Act, so you have a clear definition, clear rules of the road, and consumer protections that come from that, as well as the ability to deploy capital here and have innovation. So the big thing here is to get the bill done. It's a question of whether or not the current politics will permit that to happen, or we have to wait longer for the Senate to come to terms with it.
I think they'll have to wait longer. So you can see what Trump's doing here. He's playing 5D chess with them, isn't he? He's deliberately launched him income. He's deliberately allowed his family to create stuff in the space. And the Dems, he knew they would come after them. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. If he gets this passed, they're done. As in the DS. Yeah, you know what I say when I'm deep state. They're done, because once you put everything on the blockchain, everything's traceable, everything will be watched, everything will be controlled. That's their money system gone. That's what all the riddlers talk about. This is a changeover of a monetary order. That's the stakes we are at here. He doesn't care about these pieces of being, done, investigate. Trump is playing at a higher level here, and you can see, how the kind of Bateman switch is about to be played. Anyway, this is XRP Crypto Wolf. He's a super OG. Give him a follow. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has urged US lawmakers to pass the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, arguing that the industry cannot wait for a perfect version of legislation. And David Schwartz kicks in underneath and says, or as I call it, the damn Clarity Act. Pass the damn Clarity Act. Now, when you say damn, it made me think of, David always writes in riddles. He's very, very, very clever and very savvy. Damn, is it a dam about to break? I don't know, or is he just saying the word damn? Anyway, I'll leave that to you. So this is Chad Steingraber, saying 977.39 million XRP now. That's pretty much $1 billion been pulled out of circulation by these ETFs. That's it. $1 billion XRP locked up in asset manager funds. That's the first 1% gone. We're less than a year in the next 100 years. Imagine where this goes. So this hoover that's going on in the background, the longer these guys get to accumulate, they're going to accumulate for their funds. These hedge funds and these asset manager funds are going to be worth a fortune in the future, and they're the bravest and boldest to the kind of the early parts of this at the minute. So Evan North, let's have a listen to this clip. He says, Bitcoin is great as digital gold. You just wouldn't buy a toothbrush or a bar with it. This is Saga CBO on why XRP is the utility layer and finance, settles in 3 to 5 seconds, costs a fraction of a cent any time of the day.
Oftentimes what you'll hear about is that Bitcoin is like digital gold. It's great as a potential store of value, but the challenge is that for the same reason that I don't go out and, let's say, buy my toothbrush with a brick of gold, it's not great for payments. So Bitcoin's great for certain things like store of value, but it's very computationally intensive, it's not very energy friendly, and it can take a long time to settle a transaction. While I think Bitcoin is great for that potential store of value, not great for payments. Now, this is where XRP comes in, and we see it as being like the new utility for the financial stack. XRP settles transactions very quick.
We're going to have it
at roughly 3 to 5 seconds and very efficiently, fractions of a penny, no matter what the time of day is. And so as you're thinking about doing lots and lots of volume of transactions, you want that predictability and you want that speed. And that is where I think the XRP ledger shines.
Yeah, powerful. Again, it's more of a narrative, and Evernorth is founded by Ashish Birla, one of the Ripple executives and former very early Ripplers. Now, bring the switch gears. Senator Cynthia Lummis. I want to bring your attention to where she is from, and I completely missed this. She is the senator from Wyoming. Now, Wyoming, quite an interesting place. Maybe you'll have heard about it before. We could have a quick look on this, which is an article about the Teton National Park. Have you heard of that before? The mountain range, Jackson Hole. Have we talked about it before on this channel? Do you remember what it was all about? Do you remember the balloon rides? Okay, well, the Grand Teton National Park is in Wyoming, and it is the location of the famous level playing field. I'm going to play you a clip by the Declaration of Independence, which was from the Ripple Riddler. It's now on the account 12000 XRP. So I'm probably going to get a strike for that now, aren't I, on YouTube? But that was the famous level playing field, and you can see it in this scene in the background. You can see it as the balloon takes off into the valley, balloon rides, Teton National Park. It's the same kind of thing. Why did the Ripple Riddler use these prompts? Well, in the early days, we had the likes of Mark Carney and Federal Reserve Chief, Jerome Powell, meeting every year. The elites meet in Jackson Hole in Wyoming, and they used this level playing field. Now, these guys were the ones who called for this unipolar digital cryptocurrency back in the day. This is where we first kind of locked onto it in 2018, possibly, and they were all in their meetings there, and we were like, what? There was like a mic drop moment, we called it, and the Ripple Riddler used some symbology from these, and again, this is the level playing field. You can see my old posts here with my old logo from a long time ago on this platform. And again, I used these prompts here, these images, same thing, the level playing field. So what's the significance of that? Well, it just so happens, as I said, that Cynthia Lummis, who is fighting for the Clarity Act, who is pushing the regulation molasses, is from Wyoming. Okay, that is a very interesting thing, because we know the regulation molasses was very much kind of, if you think about the thing that's stalling, I will go back to the Christmas scene to bring this up for you. We talk about the jar molasses, didn't we, in the Christmas scene and the regulations, and we've got the level playing field on the calendar. I should probably bring the calendar up for you here. The level playing field is September, October, November, December. Now, very interesting, right? I've talked about this a lot. The level playing field is meant to be where things are set fair. That's the idea. The level playing field is a metaphor where all countries can equally trade and evenly. So this, if you go back to the Bonfire Guys videos, I'll have to do this with you some other time. He was the one that really nailed this. He's got a Twitter handle, I think it's at Bayonne. Look for Bonfire Guy. Did some amazing videos on this. He explained it perfectly. It was all about trade. So the trade, when it's done unilaterally and equally across the world, and everyone gets to trade fair, that is the level playing field. And of course, how do you do that? Well, it's obviously with blockchain. It's going to be with various different currencies around the world built into an interledger protocol, a harmonized system. That's what the new buzzword they're using rather than interoperable, a harmonized system. But the level playing field is when things are put right. It's when things are pushed through. And if you can see this gavel here in this image, you can see it's right next to September, which is the level playing field. Now, regs are being pushed through to get the level playing field, right? Okay, now we'll just look at Bearable Guy's page here and bring this quickly up here. We go to the bottom, and I've showed you this before, where you have a jar of molasses tipping, and we're going to get this. Here we go. It's loading up. It's tipping on August the 18th. I've spoke about this before. Yeah, tipping point, August the 18th. And it's a gift, showing the jar wanting to drop and a bear. So we know that August precedes September in the calendar months, and as we can see on here, September's golden, a level playing field style. Now that doesn't mean the tokens are going to go smash into the horizon. The charts have got to play out as the charts play out, but it's really interesting nonetheless. So that was super cool to figure out that she was part of the Wyoming law. And I wanted to bring a couple of things to my highlights up here. I've put future proofs past, tipping point, August the 18th, put it in your calendars. Level playing field starts to September, December. Could be wrong. Past 4 or 5 years I thought this was going to be the year I was wrong. So just FYI on that, don't bank on these things. Timing is everything. This is a post by Cooper Dog Down. Now Howard Moon posted this on the 23rd of the 7th, which is in July 2021 at 1:11. The end is just the beginning, and they're talking about Japan, the red sun. Very, very interesting. There's a few other posts I put up, but they're kind of more reachy posts. This is about Swift, and their article here using their cross-border payment system is live, and they've got these either planets or kind of circular object. If it'll load, will it load? There we go. These. It looks more like a planetary system. Very interesting, because planetaries are heavily significant as well as we move towards. I think it's next week. There's a big planetary parade, but of course what I'm joining it to is the snowballs from the very early pictures from 2017, I think it was, with Bearable Guy, when you've got all the snowballs. And of course I followed it up with the actual quotes. Some of you who've been around for a while know where this comes from. The plans Ripple has for XRP are moving faster and faster, and I know that you all see it. Now the eagle-eyed among you will know where that comes from. That was the original banner. All the snowballs, there were 2, 4 and 6. We're left at 2 now on the banner, aren't we? We can go back up to BG's banner. Is it on this one? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah. We've only got 2 left, and then you're at the 5, 8 and 9 kind of dots in the future. Cool, isn't it? So that's pretty much it for now. I think I've covered everything I want to cover. Yeah, midweek catch-up done. Well, not end of week catch-up, my bad. We did the midweek catch-up. It's Friday now. Hope you all have a nice weekend anyway. Anyway, if you like that, drop a like, drop a comment. Tell me how the format is working out for you. I'm going to try new thumbnails. You'll see me using new thumbnails in these videos. I'm using AI to create them. Just a test, A/B test, to see if I get better reach with it. And we'll see where we go from that. The AI is insane how powerful it is to create these thumbnails. I just talked about this to a chap yesterday about these, but amazing. Anyway, good to catch up with you all. Have a great weekend, whatever you're doing. Let me know how this format is. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Be blessed. Bye for now.